Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Monday, August the 18th, 2014. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Frank Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the meeting minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, August 4th, 2014. The floor is open for questions or comments or corrections.
I have no questions, comments, or questions.
I have none, but I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for August
And
4th.
I will second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Next on the agenda is approval of claims. This evening, Board, you have a docket of 4 pages of claims in the amount of $145,653.89. Floor is open for questions or comments.
I have reviewed them earlier, and I have no questions.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated August the 18th, 2014 in the amount of $145,653.89.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye and the motion carries. We have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. Under new business, we have a letter for the Beech Grove Station for sanitary services. And before I proceed, Board, the property behind the police station and fire station on Churchman is going to be developed into a retirement community. And the retirement community, the name that they have chosen for that subdivision is Beech Grove Station. So when it refers to Beech Grove Station, that is the community name there. And that's in reference to the railroad. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like for Dan or our clerk to read into the record a letter that's being sent to Crossroads Engineer concerning sanitary service. Dan?
Dear Mr. Ilko, the City of Beech Grove, Indiana intends to provide sanitary service to the aforementioned development via an existing 12-inch sanitary sewer to the north of the development and an existing 12-inch sanitary sewer to the south of the development. It is understood, based upon information provided by Crossroads engineers, the peak flow from the development shall be 73,240 GPD, and the clubhouse shall be routed to the sanitary sewer to the south. The remainder of the development's flows shall be routed to the sanitary sewer to the north. In addition, it is understood as a part of this development, the existing sanitary sewer to the north shall be upsized from the proposed connection point to the existing sanitary manhole labeled MH991008 on the construction plans prepared by Crossroads Engineers. Respectfully submitted, Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove.
Yes, please read that as well.
Okay. Dear affected parties, the letter serves as notice that the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, IDM, Office of Water Quality, Facility Construction Section has received a sanitary sewer permit application on August 1st, 2014 from Mr. Mark Seapeel, Esquire, the NRP Group, LLC, as required by IC 13-15-3-1. If approved by IDEM, the permit would allow the applicant to construct a sanitary sewer for Beech Grove Station in Beech Grove, Indiana. If you have any questions concerning this application, please contact Don Worley. That would be it.
All right. Any questions or comments from board members?
I do have a question. Nowhere in the letter going out, it doesn't say where this development is. All it says is Beech Grove Station. Well, the general public doesn't know where that is. I didn't know, that was one of the questions I had for the meeting tonight, because I had no idea where this development was, or
This
even
is
where.
really an internal document,
Okay,
but the reason I put it on the agenda was to be open as to what we're doing. And this is for that property located behind the police and fire station on Churchman. Generally, we don't see these types of correspondence
okay,
because it's between the city and the developer. But we wanted to put it on here to be open,
okay.
of what we're doing.
Also known as rock pile?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
a rock pile.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So, that's why Dan put it into the record,
Okay,
and actually it'll be an improvement because, they're
Absolutely.
upsizing the, sewers leading from the railroad,
okay.
which is a good deal. So,
That
any
was just-
questions?
Yeah, that was just one of my questions that I had before the meeting, because I didn't know where this was.
Did you want to add anything, Brad? I mean, pretty cut and dried.
Yeah.
If there's no questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the letter.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll say,
All
second.
those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. That concludes new business, and there is no miscellaneous business to carry over from the previous meeting. Comments for board members?
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll
I'll
make-
make said motion.
I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:05 PM. We will convene Board of Works in approximately 10 minutes. Thank Good evening and welcome to the second and final meeting tonight. At this time, my name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, August the 18th, 2014. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. We'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, August the 4th, 2014 were presented. Floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
I do have a question, please.
Mm-hmm.
We decided, in regards to the corporate claims, there was an amount that was in question for $2,500 attorney fees. Dan, they were for you. And the recommendation was to table it until Craig had an opportunity to inspect the invoices and then bring them up at this meeting. So I wanted to see what's transpired since the last meeting. And also, in the minutes, it says, however many invoices are generated from the clerk treasurer McMillan's representation will be reviewed and they will be paid. Is that the way we left it?
The entire amount of the docket was approved for payment, and the fees that were questioned were to reviewed by Craig, and then Craig would advise the clerk to pay or not to pay.
Yep, and I did, and I reviewed it, and there was nothing
Is that right?
city legal
Yes.
Okay,
in nature, so Dan and I worked that out.
okay,
I received an email from Craig saying payment was all right, so I've already mailed the payment.
okay. So it was what, 2,500 or 2,600?
It was about 2,600
Okay, all right.
approximately.
Okay, so we're done, there's no more?
Well, no, I wouldn't say we're done. We were done with that one.
Further questions? Comments?
I guess we'll address them as we get them?
Yes,
Okay, one at
they'll
a
be on
time.
different dockets, correct?
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Any other corrections, comments, or changes on the minutes?
I have none.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Unfinished business carried over from previous meetings, we have none. New business, including introduction of resolutions, contracts, or other business. The first order of business is a bid award for the 9th and Buffalo. Oops, sorry. Sorry. When you don't put them in order, you get. Let's revert back to number 4, claims. Board, you have been presented 28 pages of claims in the amount of $887,316.80. Floor is open for questions or comments.
I'll start. Page 3, the third one, down from the top. Bloomington Ford for $11,434.
That was a new police vehicle by the police department.
And it was budgeted, right?
No, this came out of the criminal investigation fund. I believe the 11,000 was a balance after a trade-in. I'm not sure what they traded in,
Okay.
but yes, this was out of their criminal investigation fund.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple more.
All right.
Let me just find. Ed, if you have any questions, you can,
Okay.
why I go through my
Pipe in.
pages.
I mean, covered it so far.
Okay, my second question is on page 17, 3/4 of the way down, Comcast Cable. Board of Works telephone and cable services for August in the amount of $107.68.
Okay.
With me?
It's just their Comcast service for the month.
Right, but if you turn to
Okay.
page 20, the
Right.
same, page 20, almost in the middle, is the exact same charge for $1,400. It says the same thing. But it's with Paytech, so there's Paytech and Comcast, but it's for,
This is where it came out of. This line item, Board of Public Works, telephone and cable, is the generic line item. And so Paytech is the long-distance service. So it would come out of this category for payment.
we make that many long-distance phone calls?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably just, I'm not sure what that's for.
Okay. My next question is page 23, please. 3/4 of the way down, Indy curb appeal
That's a
for $12,000.
That's a business here in Beech Grove, and I believe, well, I'll have to find it on here, 12,500. This is, striping of 9th Street from Churchman to Thompson Road.
I had multiple quotes also. I'd gotten a quote from Autos as well. They were the low bidder.
That just seems so expensive.
Yeah, the other one was for over 13,000.
And then the same things were on page 27, so thanks for clarifying that, Brad.
And when I turned it in, just so you know, there was a copy of of both estimates.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Now, the one, and I've got a question on this, on 27, the Indy curb appeal. Brad, could you tell us what that was? It says to repair driveways and 3 curb approaches.
Yeah, those were 3 bad driveway aprons in the right of way and 1 bad curb that went under a driveway that was falling apart.
Okay,
2 on Elm and 1 on Ash, and then there was a curb next to the one on Ash as well.
okay. I just wanted to make sure the public knew this was not for striping also,
Yeah.
that it was something different.
I saw those, I think it's on Elm. Their aprons are great, but the road is really tore up at the end of those aprons.
Yeah.
They are, what is.
Yeah, there's several of those out there. We're knocking them out as we go. Just takes a little bit of time.
Thank you.
I'm sure they would have liked for us to do the road too, but I didn't have that in my budget.
Thank you.
She's complete.
Any other questions or comments?
I have none.
I have none. Thank you.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated August the 18th, 2014, in the amount of $887,316.80.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye and the motion carries. Unfinished business carried over from the previous meeting, we have none. New business, including introduction of resolutions, contracts, and other business. First up, bid award, 9th and Buffalo Street. And I'll defer to Jeremy from Westler Engineering. Jeremy, good evening.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Excuse me, got an itchy nose there. Of course, well, you want me to just go ahead and read the evaluation letter?
Yes, sir.
Give a summary of that. The bids were opened at the last Board of Works meeting on July 21st, 2014. Sorry, quotes, sorry. You usually receive bids, so this one was different because it's under the allotted limit. But 3 quotes were received and read aloud, and we tabulated those quotes, and they matched up, so everybody did their math correctly, so that was good. And then the low quoter was Russell Excavating for $89,113. And it's a unit price contract. So, quantities will be measured and verified in the field. And then a final change order and final dollar amount will be given to the board at the end for approval.
Floor is open for questions from Jeremy.
I have none.
I have none.
Talk about the project itself and where it's at, Jeremy, for the public.
Sure. 9th and Buffalo is, I guess you call it the north central part of the city, probably. Yeah, Buffalo Street is, 3 blocks north of Albany, just to give a reference, and probably most people know where 9th Street is, in the middle of town here. Yeah, it's a storm sewer project, and Buffalo Street actually dives off to the west and goes down a steep grade. So the stormwater over time has deteriorated the roadway. So with this project, it will include new storm sewer inlets to catch the water. And right now, it's just sort of sheet flowing, and then making a gully down the middle of the road. So we'll enclose that stormwater and put it into a pipe, and the pipe will take it down to a natural ditch that's at the bottom of the hill. And then the steep part of the hill is going to be replaced with concrete, and then the bottom part will be restored with gravel, which is right now. So, and then there'll be a little bit of patching, asphalt patching on 9th Street, where we're cutting across for storm sewer, and then there's one really bad patching area at the stop sign. Where everybody comes to a stop, the pavement has deteriorated over time from that, so be replacing that
So
pavement there.
the pavement won't be replaced throughout the intersection?
Nope, just in that real bad area, and then just where we're cutting across the road to install the new storm sewer. So, but the entire intersection will be resurfaced.
Okay, it will be.
Yeah, just that intersection.
Okay.
Will be resurfaced. Yep.
And was there any issue with the property owners down where the water is going to dump out? Do they have to sign off on it or anything?
No, it's all platted right away down there. The streets were just never built because it's areas that, there's no bridge across, it leads to a creek, so it's good for drainage. But there was never ever a bridge built there, back in the early 1900s when it was platted. So the road, sort of stops there, but there is formal right of way that was platted way back when the city was developed. So, so it's all within existing right of way. Yeah, the property owners that we knocked on doors and talked to, you know, they were for the project and looking forward
Yeah,
to
it's
improvements.
terrible down there. Down there the other day looking at it, it's just really bad. Any other questions, board members? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the recommendation of Westler Engineering for Russell Excavating Incorporated not to exceed $89,113.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. As we talked earlier, Jeremy, I wanted to time this to where it comes out for payment at the end of the year, so that way our stormwater will pick this up.
Right.
So I don't know what the next step is.
Well, we have contract documents, so now the ball goes back into Russell Excavating's court. I'll get Mayor, I'm assuming you'll be signing, authorizing the notice of award, or somebody at the Board of Works. You know, we'll give this document back to Russell Excavating. They will contact their bonding company, get the bonds that are necessary, get the other contract documents reviewed and signed, and then work on their schedule, you know, to tell us when they can start and finish construction, and then we'll go from there, you know, back and forth with the city and the contractor in the town and get it done. And then our next milestone, I guess, is the pre-construction meeting, you know, meet with all the utilities and the contractor, and make sure everybody's on the same
Very good.
page.
Very good, Jeremy. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Next order of business is a master vendor's license with the Beech Grove Eagles. Dan, did you want to comment on this?
It looks like everything's here. Their insurance, naming the city of Beech Grove as additional insured, so from my standpoint, it looks like everything's here.
The
The
chief,
application.
did you look at this?
I signed one copy.
Okay, so he's good. Okay. This is for a beach party that they want to have on September 13th.
At their location.
No, it would be out on Main Street
During the fall festival.
during the fall festival. So in order to do that, they would have to come forward with a vendor's license.
They've done this previous, haven't they?
No, this is the first time they've done it.
Oh, really?
Last couple of years have been the chamber.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Anyway, if there's any questions, ask for motion to approve the master vendor's license for Eagles Lodge.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next up is the NDOT amendment to the Amtrak agreement. Greg, I don't know if you wanted to discuss this, or very briefly?
This is the first time I've seen this. I know the main agreement. Is this the termination of the, do you know what?
No, this is an amendment, that they come up with, this expires at October 1st of 2014, and they made an amendment to extend it to January 31st, 2015. None of the conditions change. We still do what we have done the past year. Our contribution to the Hoosier State is an in-kind donation. So that stays. That's not going to change. They're just asking to extend the agreement until the end of January 2015.
It doesn't cost the city anything,
No,
just an extension of the agreement.
just an extension of the agreement.
Okay.
And what I would like to do is, if the clerk would read it into the record, it's just one page.
The front page. Okay, this contract amendment is made and entered into as of the date of the Indiana Attorney General's signature affixed to this contract by and between the state of Indiana, acting and through the Indiana Department of Transportation, herein referenced as NDOT, and the city of Rensselaer, Indiana, Tippecanoe County, Indiana, city of Lafayette, Indiana, city of West Lafayette, Indiana, city of Crawfordsville, Indiana, city of Indianapolis, Indiana, and this is a typo, it should be the city of Beech Grove, Indiana, jointly referred to herein as the parties or LPAs witnessed. Whereas NDOT and the parties did, April 29, 2014, enter into a contract concerning joint funding of Amtrak Hoosier State Service, and whereas in order to provide for completion of the work, it is necessary to amend the contract. Now therefore, it is agreed by and between the parties that the following sections are amended as follows. Number 1, Section 1.6, Term and Termination. This agreement shall remain in full force and effect from the date of full execution through January 31st, 2015, unless amended, modified, or terminated as provided herein. In the event that NDOT or the Oversight Board decides to terminate the Amtrak agreement, or the Amtrak agreement and any extension therefore expires without a new agreement for continued operation of the HSS being executed, this agreement shall automatically terminate.
And then there's one on the second page.
Okay. Number 2, accept as herein modified, changed, and amended, all terms of the original contract dated April 29, 2014 shall continue in full force and effect.
The only thing they're asking to do is extend it to January 31st of 15. Everything else remains the same.
Okay.
Questions or comments from board members? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
A second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Let's redate that.
Thank you. Not on the agenda this evening, we got this today, is a request from the Fraternal Order of Eagles to hold a beach party on Main Street. I'll ask the clerk to read the request into the record, please.
To the city of Beech Grove, the Beech Grove Eagles is requesting that Main Street between 7th and 8th Avenue be closed from 8 a.m. until 12 a.m. on September 13th, 2014 for the annual beach party. Thank you in advance for your consideration, Vince Kim and Beech Grove Beach Party Committee.
Chief, would you have any questions or reservations about this? This is the same thing they've done the last 2 years.
I think the street closing is fine as long as the music stops, I think by 11 by the ordinance.
Floor is open for questions or comments.
I have none. As long as they
Have none.
approve.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request from the Eagles to close Main Street on the 13th of September from 8 a.m. until 12 a.m. for the annual beach party.
I'll make said motion.
I approve. I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. And the last order of business is also not on the agenda. It came in today. And it is a letter from a citizen on 6th Street. Now I'll ask the clerk to read it into the record.
To whom it may concern, I am writing this letter to request that the section of South Sixth Avenue from Main to Alton be closed on the date of August 30th, 2014, from the time of 12 noon until 2359 on the same date. I am requesting this closure for the purpose of the first annual South Sixth Avenue Block Party. If you have any questions, you may contact myself, Lisa Lewis, or Kim Sturm.
What was the date of that one?
August the 30th, from noon until midnight.
Again, I'll defer to the chiefs.
Midnight?
I talked to the police chief about it today, and I raised a question about the time. So chiefs, your perspectives?
My idea is, as long as they control the noise until 11 o'clock, and I would suggest not to Main Street, just to the alley.
Okay.
Because if you go up to Main Street, you've got to block off the alley to the other alleys at least. So I would say alley south to Alton on 6th Street
But you think they ought to cut it off at 11?
at 11 o'clock.
Okay, floor is open for questions or comments.
I have none. I'll follow their recommendation.
I'm done.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request for a block party on South Sixth from the alley south of Main to Alton from noon until 11 p.m. Is that right?
Motion. Yes.
Ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well.
Dan, you will contact them and let them know 11 o'clock is.
Yeah, I can do that. That's no
Okay.
problem at all.
Okay, thanks.
We've got one.
Before I open it up to the chiefs, I'll ask the clerk to read into a record a commendation I received today.
City of Beech Grove Police Department. This is from Jack Quinn. It says regarding Officer Steve Durbin, Animal Control. Greetings. We would like to thank and commend Officer Steve Durbin for his responsiveness, courtesy, and professionalism. I called Officer Durbin yesterday morning regarding a squirrel in my 90-year-old father's home. He arrived within an hour with the cage. We used the cage to catch the squirrel. He called Officer Durbin, he arrived a few minutes later to take the squirrel to the park. It was a great relief for my father and also to my wife and me, and that we were leaving yesterday afternoon to return to Arizona. Thanks again to Officer Durbin. Sincerely, Jack Quinn.
Thanks for reading that. I'd like to reflect that into the record, please. A lot of times the employees here don't get enough credit for what they do. And so it's nice to hear good things from citizens. Now, if we could get an update from the departments. Rob, could you just come up and give us an update on anything that's going on with the fire department?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, the fire department's been extremely busy. This has been a busy summer for us EMS-wise. If you take a look at the monthly reports, you'll see our EMS side is doing over 300. We average 345 runs a month, which is extremely busy. The guys on the fire side also, they run EMS and fire. And the weather we've had this summer, we've been very thankful, and we haven't had the hot, humid days every day, which takes a toll on everybody. Equipment-wise, we have spent a lot of money maintenance, reinvest in our current fleet. Our ambulances, we have them on a monthly rotation for oil changes every Monday, where we actually get those units up in the air. They take a look underneath, check the brakes. We've had some significant repairs to Medic 56. I'm still under the habit of calling that the new Medic truck. We've had it for almost 2 years now, but that vehicle has over 70,000 miles on it. So it's not new anymore, and we're reinvesting some dollars in there to keep on the road, keep our personnel safe. Budget time's been extremely busy for us. We're in the works. We're hoping to have a new ambulance lease in the budget. That brings out some good problems to have, where we'll have to get with the Board of Works and the council soon and open up a bid process for that ambulance. That's always a good time for us, but to receive new equipment, but it is a challenge. Personnel-wise, we have one gentleman who's in the IFD recruit class. He has come along very well. It's been a challenge for him, but he's accepted that challenge, and he's doing very well. And that's about it. I'm willing to answer any questions you might have of the fire department and the personnel at this time.
I have none. Thank you.
Ed?
Well, just standard maintenance then on the ambulance, like brakes.
Yes.
Nothing really major.
No, nothing out of the ordinary. We did have engine 57 at Donley's, and we had a pump primer go out, and we had that replaced. Some general maintenance issues on the engine. That engine is over 12 years old now, so we do reinvest a lot of dollars in it. Our fleet is doing well, but with aging apparatus, it does take a little more money. Reinvest in those, make sure they're mechanically sound.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Brad? Here's a guy who's really busy. What's going on out of DPW?
Oh yeah, lots of
Good stuff.
Lots of fun, exciting stuff. Well, today they took down 8 trees, so that was good. We usually use Mondays to get a lot of kind of miscellaneous things done that build up throughout the week. We don't have a trash route, so frees us up to use some additional guys for different jobs like that. So today was removing trees that the Greenscape had given us a list of trees that were kind of judged to be in severe decline, in need of removal. So we've been trying to knock those out to make Tim Latimer happy. Trash trucks are doing great. We bought those in late 2012. It's really helped out with the budgeting because we don't spend as much money on repairs and maintenance like we used to with the old trucks. We're real happy with the Kenworths that we bought. We took delivery of a new leaf machine. It just got the logos put on it, so it looks really sharp, and we're excited to put that out there second week of October. We'll start leaf pickup. Street sweeping is going to go on for another month and a half. It wraps up at the end of September, so that's in its final phase for this year. I think we'll put a flyer out on the leaf pickup this year, probably here in the next few weeks. So, yeah, we're just gearing down from summer and looking to go into fall. And then, of course, all the projects. You've got 9th and Buffalo that's going to kick off soon. Safe routes for school. We just had our pre-con meeting with that. That went out to letting on the 9th of July, so they're getting close to starting that. I would say within the next couple weeks, you'll probably see people in those areas, which is Churchman, about where the high school's at, Hornet Avenue, over by the middle school on Detroit. So you'll start to see some activity there. Citizens Water, wrapping up some of their work. 19th is all done. They finished 11th. It's actually been resurfaced. I hope they're gonna wrap 13th up soon. That's gone much longer than they thought.
So do we.
Yeah, that's been a struggle. But they're working hard to try to get that main to pass, and then they're working on 8th now. So it's been some rerouting of some things and some inconvenience, but overall I think it's a great thing for the residents. I mean, you're getting a new water main, you're getting new pavement in a lot of those areas. The city's working hard to repave a lot of roads. That's getting ready to start as well. The reconstruction of 23rd, North 8th between Albany and Buffalo. So we've got a lot of roads that are going to start to be repaved by us. And we did that sewer lining there in the project at Bellefontaine, and between 8th and 9th, the new manhole that we put in. So it's been a good thing to be busy, and we've had multiple projects going on this year, but they're all good projects. So I think we've been real active, not only in the sewers, storm, and sanitary, but in the roads. And I feel like people must be pretty happy with where all the money's going, because you can definitely go out and see where it's being spent, which is a good thing. It's what Beech Grove needs.
Two more things. How about the R2D2?
Yeah, we got the skid steer, which has been a great piece of equipment. I mean, we really have used it probably as much or more than anything else we've ever bought. And then we got decals put on it. It looks really nice. And I know next year we look to plan to buy another leaf machine. So I'm probably forgetting. I feel like we've gotten something else that I'm not.
Well, the hot
Picking
patch
up.
machine.
Yeah, and that's in the budget for next year as of now. So, and that'll help us with potholes to keep, you know, more inventory on hand of that mix and keep it hot and be able to do a better job. So, and every road that we pave is one less road next year we got to do potholes on, at least for a while. So that
And I'm
helps.
starting to get excited about Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the repaving of Cleveland this year that we really didn't anticipate. So that's going to be an added bonus to be able to do that. So yeah, it's kept me busy, but it's all good. So people should be happy.
How about the sign inventory? Where are we at?
That lets in September, so we'll have a pre-construction meeting on it probably in October, and they'll look to start maybe November, and you'll start to see new signs going up everywhere. So yeah, our 2 NDOT projects are moving along, and going along right as scheduled.
And do you want to dab a little bit in what GAI wants to do?
Yeah, they're kind of looking into the possibility of doing some complete streets work out near. Are you talking about Arlington and Churchman? Yeah, you know, Kinetrix has put a lot of money, $20-30 million in that area with gas lines and was it the CNG or compressed natural gas or liquid natural gas, a new form of energy that they can use to do, I think, over-the-road semis as of right now. But it's really, you know, that area is now starting to really redevelop, and I think the idea is to kind of increase our ability to handle all that traffic that's going to be in that area in the near future. And already, actually, they're hauling semis out of there that we didn't have a year or two ago. So we're looking at enhancing that intersection at Churchman and Arlington. You know, right now the big move is to go to complete streets where you can basically move any type of traffic that you want to, be it pedestrian, bicycle, car, truck. So I think we're putting together some ideas of how that can be, whether it's a roundabout or whatever it would be. It would be a good area to do it. So and would reward those people, I think, for putting all that money into that area. So, and they're going to need space with all of those trucks that are coming out of there. We really want to keep them, if we can, off Churchman and off Garstang and head them out the other way. So that would help. That would aid in that process. And I think Alro Steel is just now connecting into Big Four from the backside to try to alleviate some of their traffic off Churchman, which would be a good thing. And we're working on looking at getting some additional funding for sidewalks. That's another thing we proposed that looks like it might be seen as a good project to do, to try to get those pedestrians out of the roadway. If you've ever gone through there consistently, you'll see people in the road on scooters or walking, and you know, you have a truck going by loaded with steel, so it's very dangerous. So the mayor and I both have kind of tried to make that a priority to get that some visibility and hopefully get it some funding.
Doing a wonderful job for the city, Brad, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There is a lot going on.
Yes, there is.
There'll be a lot more going on in the next month or so. I appreciate the work Dan's done as well because administrating these grants is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And NDOT always wants to change the rules. So it's just hard to negotiate through these things. And we did the Main Street loan, and now we're done with the sidewalk, St. Francis School. But I appreciate the work that's been done. It's difficult.
Yeah.
No, I just had a question. You mentioned you took down 8 trees today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to be able to use the skid steer for the stump removal? One of the attachments that we.
Yeah, we will. Today was just getting them cut down, and then we go back and do this. Yeah, but yeah, we will. We use the stump attachment, remove the stumps. Then usually you leave the grindings there for a week or so, and then we'll haul that out. And
Which is a good thing, because previously we was having to rent
right.
equipment to do this, and so
Yeah.
that's something we no longer will have to do.
Yeah. At some point it pays itself off, you know. So yeah, it's been a blessing.
Well done.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Brett.
Appreciate it.
Chief?
Good evening, Board. A couple of things is to go with, I got hold of Brad today, and we're going to put up signs from Main Street to the alley north of Main on 10th Street by the school. We want to restrict parking between 1 and 3 p.m. This hopefully will eliminate some of the traffic that's gathered on Main Street. I've talked to the officer who's talked to the school, and they hope that this will help fill up the area. We have one resident that's really put a clog into our plans and refuses to not move off the street. So I think the sign is what we have to do to clear up that area just for a couple hours to make it a little bit safer for the kids and move the school buses in and out.
But this is to get the traffic off of Main Street?
Yes. So it doesn't stop at 10th and Main, and we have some parents that get a little irate and upset that we can't move them anywhere, but there are so many in the afternoon. The morning's not a problem because they come at different times, and the school has hired somebody to sit in the cafeteria to where the parents can drop them off earlier, which alleviates the traffic problem with that. But in the afternoon, everybody seems to have the same pickup time, which clogs up the road. A couple other things. The incident several weeks, a month ago at Walmart with the shooting, the detectives have been working really hard with this, and they finally got enough information that they have a warrant for the shooter. They believe he's moved back to Illinois, but at least they have a warrant active for him soon, and hopefully catch him. The incident down at the park where they had a shooting, our SRT team, our SWAT team, went out today and was able to catch one of the guys involved, and they have a warrant for the person that actually did the shooting. And they don't have a good address for him. He's hides in tunnels, different houses, moves around a lot. But at least they know who he is, and the Sheriff's Department warrant team will be looking for him too. Last week, our SWAT team went out with the Sheriff's Department warrants team and served and tried to serve several violent felony warrants, which was considered A, B, and C warrants, which A is the worst one, and they were able to apprehend a couple people with that. And I think other than some of our cars are wearing out, but we have it in the budget for next year to buy some new cars and some computers. I'm going Wednesday to Louisville to a convention to get some prices on both of those, so hopefully we'll get as good as price as we can. And hopefully get delivery sometime the first of the year.
Chief, I wanted, can you share your conversations with the folks down at Motel 6?
I talked to 3 representatives from Motel 6. From the manager of the motel up to, I think it was the vice president of operations. And all 3 were very concerned about the problems, but all 3 were very willing to help in any manner that they could. They understood that they had a lot of runs there, more than any other motel, but they were told that we appreciate their cooperation as far as the police. We ask them for something and they're willing to give it. And if we ever need anything, they're willing to help out. They know it's a problem at times, the people that they rent to. Sometimes they can't control it. But they were told that this ordinance that will go through is in case that motel or any other one becomes a problem, and they understood that. but they are very willing to help in any way they can, all three of them, from apartment or to motel management up to the upper rung of the business. They're very willing to help, and they want to stay in business.
Any problems with St. Francis property?
There's been a few runs over there where they've had people in the building, and I'm not sure if any arrests have been made, but they have trespassed people from the property.
Any influx of heroin or other drugs?
Heroin is a little bit of an influx, probably taken over from crack cocaine and cocaine, just because of the price difference. I guess there is an influx in heroin, but it about equals out with the use of the cocaine and crack cocaine. That one diminishes, the other one takes over and uses about the same amount.
Any spike in crime that we should be aware of?
No,
I've seen the
fortunately,
report, but it's,
not any, no spike other than the two shootings that we've had, Walmart and down at the park. And fortunately, with the hard work of the detectives, that they've spent many hours, many investigative hours questioning people, a lot of uncooperative people. Not surprising that they want us to find out who it is, and that's what they tell us. They say, you're the police, find out for yourself. And it's a little tough, but they do a good job, and that's probably our influx right now. And just to change the subject a little bit, the schools are busy. Mark Parker, who's in the high school, I met with him and some of the school reps. They want to hire part-time officers into the other schools, the middle school, central, because of the high school being so busy that every time they seem to have an incident at the high school, Mark is at another school trying to solve a problem there. They had a child on a school bus that had an automatic knife. So that took Mark out of the high school and into this. An automatic knife is illegal. That's a blade that you push a button and it comes out. And for a child to bring that to school, that brings another concern. And I think that's the reason the school wants to hire part-time people to work there. And that agreement, or that offering by the school, I think they want to set it up by next month.
Now, they're talking about part-time police or security officers.
Part-time police, they had thought about retired police officers, but they were told that unless they're certified, they can't do arrest and police work. So they changed their gears and they want to hire part-time officers. They actually wanted another one of our officers, but they were told no, unless they want to pay for a replacement. But a part-time is what they're going after now.
sure. I was a little dismayed with Walmart. They had that meeting the other day, and my take on it, Walmart had a confrontational attitude towards the number of runs that go on down there, and I was just upset about that.
Yeah, that was a meeting between, I think 3 of our officers went there, the prosecutor and some management of Walmart. It was ARM Walmart, I think, up in Lawrence, talking about how to try to help resolve some of the runs and the time spent. And basically what the information I got back was, it's a crime, the police will have to take it, and we're not doing anything about it, is Walmart's idea. We call you, you have to come, which they are right. Incident occurs, we have to deal with it. We've asked for their cooperation in trying to do some of the paperwork before they call the officers unless they have a resistor. And that happens about half the time. We spend an hour or two each run, and usually, on an average, we'll have 3 runs a day down there. And that
It's
takes up,
disappointing because between Walmart and Motel 6 and those places, that takes away from going up and down streets.
that's true. It stops or slows down any kind of crime prevention. We are just reacting at that time.
Very
Gee.
frustrating.
What are the calls? Is it shoplifting then, or?
It's shoplifting or theft at Walmart, and I'll say not since they've been open, because when they first opened, they had off-duty police. And the off-duty officers took care of most of it then. But now they have security, which cannot do anything other than they observe what's going on. We've come to them with suggestions of hiring off-duty officers when they have loss prevention, and they didn't like that idea. We've had suggestions of customer service to people that they think shoplifting, have an employee walk around, ask if they can help, and they go, that's not gonna work. So basically, it was thumbs down to any of our suggestions, and they're just call when they want us. Eat up our resources.
Questions from board members?
I have a question. So back to the incident that was in the park.
Yes,
My understanding it was at the basketball courts.
it's a basketball court.
What's being done at this time?
Little background on it is during a basketball game, and 2 guys that knew each other or familiar with each other got into a fight. One knocked down, beat up the other one, kicked him, and went to his vehicle, got a gun, came back, pointed it at him, said, I ought to shoot you, and some other words. Then he turned around and started to walk away. His friend, the second suspect, took the gun from him, pointed it at the victim, and then turned the gun and fired it, which went into a house, and the house was occupied at the time. Nobody was injured from the gunfire. But the guy that first had the gun is a parolee, so he was arrested today, and the parole officer was there, and he'll be violated for that, plus the other charges that are added to him. The second suspect that actually shot the gun is who we have a warrant for, and he's a Indianapolis resident. Nobody involved was from Beech Grove. These are all Indianapolis people. So it's 1 arrested and 1 warrant. And they're
And the result of this is that the basketball goals or the rims have come down.
the rims have come down, and they're going to go back up, I think, on the 25th.
Week from today.
And there'll be extra officers assigned to that as often as possible to try to discourage. But sometimes you drive through and they see you, and when you leave, they start their stuff.
In your opinion, do you think our parks are a safe place for the Beech Grove residents to bring their families?
I do. There are few incidences, but like this draws a lot of attention. This is the first time this year, and I think in a year, that we've had any problems to this nature in any of the parks. Most of the time, fights, wrestling matches occur, and then they're done. Nothing to this magnitude has happened.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief?
Well, I do, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Go ahead.
I'm thinking, all right, with the rims down and they're going back up, do you think it would be better not having the basketball goals at all down there?
I think you're punishing a majority of the people for 2 people that were wrong, didn't need to be in Beech Grove, and eventually they'll both be in jail. And one back to prison, and the other one, whatever the court system decides. But for the most part, a majority of games are, maybe get a little rough at times, but they don't turn out to be like this.
I think that purpose was to cool off for a minute. Tom was going to take the rims down earlier this year because of other problems, and he decided not to do it. And then also the Parks Board also weighed in on it, and they thought, they did not want to see the rims go down permanently. They wanted to cool off for a minute, go back to, they didn't want to penalize kids as well. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, Chief, thank you.
Welcome.
Board members have any other comments or questions?
None.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make said motion.
And I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned 7:02 PM. Thank you.